Top Sales Strategies 2025, Best Practices Edition. Outbound in 2025, harder, noisier, and still worth winning. Outbound has changed in a way most teams can feel in their numbers. The average cold B2B email reply rate is around 5.1%, and cold calling success is roughly 2.3% in 2025. Those baselines don't mean outbound is dead. They mean average execution no longer produces pipeline you can count on. If your playbook still depends on volume-first sending and hoping for a few wins, you'll burn domains, burn rep energy, and burn goodwill in your market. The teams still building predictable pipeline aren't magically finding new channels. They're getting disciplined about relevance, running multi-channel sequences that actually support conversations, and treating deliverability, data, and process design like core strategy. In practice, that looks like tighter ICPs, deeper account coverage, phone-led cadences, and SDRs supported by AI for research and workflow, not replaced by it. In this guide, we'll walk through what's really changed, what good looks like now, and how to rebuild an outbound engine around qualified conversations instead of vanity activity. We'll also share how we think about sales outsourcing and outsourced SDR pods at SalesHive, because for many teams, the fastest path to improvement is pairing a clear internal strategy with an experienced outbound sales agency for execution. The new buying reality: digital first, omnichannel, and relevance-or-nothing. B2B buyers have become simultaneously more self-serve and more selective. Gartner reports that 61% of B2B buyers prefer a rep-free buying experience, and 73% say they avoid suppliers that send irrelevant outreach. So the interrupt and pitch model is getting rejected faster than ever. The takeaway isn't that humans don't matter, it's that low-context selling gets filtered out before it has a chance. At the same time, buyers are engaging across more surfaces than any single SDR motion can cover with email alone. McKinsey notes that B2B customers now use 10+ channels to interact with suppliers, and 94% of decision-makers say today's omnichannel model is as effective or more effective than pre-COVID approaches. If your program isn't designed for that reality, you'll misread no response as no interest, when it's often just wrong channel, wrong timing, wrong message. This is why more activity is a trap in 2025. Instead of chasing higher counts, the winning move is designing a system where every touch has a purpose, every account has intentional coverage, and every channel reinforces the same relevant narrative. Strategy number 1: precision targeting that earns attention. The most common outbound mistake we see is treating copy as the primary lever while the ICP stays vague. In a world where 73% of buyers avoid irrelevant outreach, mid-market SaaS, or manufacturers 100 to 5,000 employees, isn't an ICP, it's a directory search. Precision targeting is what turns cold outreach from interruption into a plausible business conversation. A practical way to tighten quickly is an ICP sprint built around evidence, not opinions. Pull your last 12 to 24 months of best fit closed-won deals. Identify the patterns that correlate with retention and expansion, not just fast closes, and translate those into a simple checklist your team can execute. Firmographics, technographics, and trigger events that create urgency. When we build programs for clients as a B2B sales agency, we treat this checklist as non-negotiable because it's the guardrail that protects both performance and brand. Precision also means multi-threading from day one. Buying committees are the default, so working one contact per account is like pitching a proposal to a single voter and calling it market coverage. Aim to enter each target account with multiple angles across roles so you can create momentum even if one stakeholder ghosts, changes jobs, or simply isn't the right entry point. Strategy number 2. Multi-channel sequences with the phone as the spine. Email-only sequences are underpowered in 2025 because they rely on the same crowded lane every other cold email agency is using. When you anchor your cadence in calling and use email plus LinkedIn to support the conversation before and after, you create more surface area for a buyer to engage when it's convenient. This matters even more as buyers spread their attention across 10+ channels and expect sellers to meet them where they are. Yes, the average cold calling success rate is about 2.3%, and that's exactly why process matters. The strongest cadences typically include 3 to 5 intentional call attempts per account over a short window, with voicemail and emails that add context rather than repeat the same pitch. The goal isn't more dials, it's more live conversations with people who are truly in your ICP and have a clear reason to care. If you want a concrete starting point, build one net new sequence per persona that runs 15 to 20 touches over 3 to 4 weeks across phone, email, and LinkedIn. Multi-channel programs regularly outperform single-channel outreach. One 2025 dataset shows a 287% increase in results when SDRs combine email, LinkedIn, and phone versus running a single channel. The common failure mode is stuffing those touches with generic checking-in messages. Every touch should introduce a new proof point, a new trigger, or a new question that moves the buyer forward. Stop playing the volume game, play the relevance game, and use the phone to turn that relevance into real conversations. Strategy number 3, deliverability and data as first-class sales levers. If your emails don't land, your sequence doesn't exist. One benchmark shows roughly 17% of cold emails never reach the primary inbox due to bounces or spam filtering, which makes domain health and list quality mission critical. Treating deliverability as someone else's problem is how teams end up with declining reply rates, damaged sender reputation, and no clear explanation for why the top of funnel dried up. Operationally, this needs an owner and a cadence. We recommend a weekly deliverability dashboard that includes bounce rate, spam flags, inbox placement signals, and domain warm-up status, reviewed the same way you review meetings booked. Pair that with list-building services that prioritize validation and consistency in CRM fields, because bad data doesn't just waste time, it trains reps to believe outreach doesn't work. A common mistake is trying to fix performance by rewriting templates while continuing to send to unverified contacts and stale accounts. Instead, invest a sprint in foundations. Validate emails and direct dials, standardize your segmentation, and remove any process that encourages reps to just add more leads. Strong B2B list-building services and consistent hygiene will often lift results faster than another round of copy tweaks. Strategy number 4, AI-augmented SDRs, copilot, not replacement. AI belongs in the SDR workflow, but only in roles where it creates leverage. Research summaries, first draft personalization, sequencing administration, and prioritization. Used well, it gives reps more time for live conversations and better prep before calls, which is exactly where skill still matters most. Used poorly, it produces robotic outreach that buyers recognize instantly and ignore. To decide where AI helps, start with your time audit. If reps spend hours per day stitching together context from websites, LinkedIn, and internal notes, that's a perfect automation target. If they struggle with discovery, qualification, and objection handling, that's a coaching target. In our experience running SDR agency programs, the best outcomes come from pairing AI output with strict human editing standards, clarity, specificity, and a real reason for outreach. AI also helps you balance inbound and outbound intelligently. One 2025 benchmark suggests inbound leads convert about 6 times higher and cost 61% less than outbound. So you should protect SDR time for fast inbound follow-up while still running structured outbound for net new pipeline. The mistake is treating all leads and all accounts as equal. AI can help triage, but your team still needs rules about what fast, high intent, and qualified actually mean. Strategy number 5, org design, metrics, and when sales outsourcing works. In 2025, SDR results are often limited by org design, not effort. When reps are responsible for everything, prospecting, list cleanup, research, writing, calling, and reporting, execution gets shallow and inconsistent. Specialization, even light specialization, tends to outperform generalist chaos. Tighter handoffs, clearer accountability, and more time spent in the work that actually drives pipeline. This is where sales outsourcing can be a strategic advantage, especially for teams launching a new segment, region, or vertical. A well-run outsourced sales team can bring proven calling frameworks, consistent QA, and the operational muscle to run multi-channel experimentation without derailing your internal team. The key is outsource for focus, not abdication. Keep ICP, positioning, and feedback loops in-house, and let a partner execute and iterate within those guardrails. If you're evaluating a cold calling agency or B2B cold calling services, tie the decision to outcomes and fit, not just activity volume. Define what a qualified meeting is, align on disqualification reasons, and measure downstream conversion into opportunities, not just meetings booked. When the system is designed correctly, adding capacity, whether through hiring or an SDR agency, can translate into an additional 10 to 20 plus qualified meetings per month without lowering standards. Strategy number 6, build a 90-day improvement plan you can actually execute. Most outbound programs don't fail because the team lacks ideas. They fail because there's no structured plan to test, learn, and lock in what works. Start by auditing your funnel against modern benchmarks. Email reply rates near 5.1%, call to meeting around 2.3%, and deliverability gaps like the 17% of emails that may never reach the primary inbox. Where you're below baseline is where you focus first: targeting, messaging, channel mix, or rep skill. Next, design one multi-channel cadence per core persona and run it as a controlled pilot. Keep variables tight: same segment, same list source, same call blocks, same messaging framework, and a clear definition of positive reply versus noise. This is the fastest way to learn whether the constraint is market fit, channel strategy, or execution quality. Finally, decide how you'll staff the work. Some teams choose to hire SDRs, others hire SDRs and add an outsourced pod for experimentation. Others lean on an outbound sales agency to move faster without adding headcount. Whatever route you pick, the success pattern is the same: weekly scorecards, fast iteration, and relentless focus on qualified conversations, not just more touches.